This video is sponsored by Final Audio. Alright guys, so it seems like we haven't really checked out as many clip-on style earbuds as we did at the beginning of the year. But today, we're going to check out the newest pair from SoundPEATS, which is the Clip1, and this is their more premium approach to clip-on style earbuds. But before we get into that, let's go ahead and talk about the sponsor of today's video real quick, which is Final Audio. And more specifically, we're going to talk about the Tonality earbuds. Now, this is a pair that's on Kickstarter right now, and it is the world's first pair of earbuds to feature timbre personalization, which really means you will have the audio personalized specifically to you so that you're able to pick apart every subtle little sound in your music, basically every instrument, every vocalist. It's just kind of more of an audiophile approach to true wireless earbuds, and I have been very impressed with not only the sound quality, but just the technology that is crammed into these. If you're interested in checking them out, I will have a link in the description to the Kickstarter page, and again, I'd like to thank Final Audio for sponsoring today's video. So now back to the SoundPEATS Clip1. Now this is a pair that retails for $69, although right now, because it's a brand new product, it's on sale for $55. And with this being a premium clip-on style earbud, $55 is definitely competitive, especially considering that the more premium clip-on style earbuds go between $200 to $300. But what the Clip1s have to offer is it is a high-res certified pair of true wireless earbuds because it has LDAC playback. It also supports Dolby audio for those that do like to use spatial audio. This is something that I recommend for movies and TV shows, but again, I've not really enjoyed using it for music, but for those that do, that is something that is offered on this earbud. It also has the dynamic EQ feature, which allows these to have some pretty good punch in the low end, even if you're going to be listening to them at lower volumes, which this is a thing that is normally missing on clip-on style earbuds. And then there are also different EQ options. All of the features that I just mentioned, these are things that you're able to turn on just by downloading the PEATS Audio app. All of it is controlled within there. They also have smart sensors, so when you take them out of your ears, it will just automatically pause. It'll go back to what you're playing to once you put them back in. It does have Bluetooth 5.4, so it does support multi-point connection, so you can connect to more than one device at a time. It also has the auto correcting feature, which means you don't have to worry about putting the left in the left of the case or the right of the case. No matter how you put them in, it will have the one on the left automatically now be the left, and the one on the right now switch over to the right. So you'll always just pick them up out of the case and automatically have your left and your right. And then as far as the drivers they're using, they are using a 12mm dual magnetic driver that has titanium plated diaphragms. A 12mm driver is fairly large, which, you do want them in more of the open style earbuds because you want something that's going to be able to compete with the sounds around you, because that's kind of the benefit of having this style of earbud. You're able to hear the sounds around you. You can just kind of go about your day-to-day life and not just isolate it from everything because you have earbuds like jammed into your ears. It's more made to kind of sit a little bit further back. It does offer a lot more space in the sound, but it also allows you to be more aware of your surroundings. Now, from a design aspect, I do feel like the case, it kind of looks cheap because it has this like really glossy look to it. It is pretty slippery, so you kind of have to be a little bit careful with that. On the back, there is a USB-C input, which is how you would charge these, because there is no Qi wireless charging, so do keep that in mind. Now, the earbuds themselves, it's a mixture of a matte finish and also chrome. So it's trimmed in chrome. It even has a little bit of chrome on the flexible part that goes around the outside part of your ears, and at times I would say this kind of also makes it look like jewelry, but I do also feel like almost every clip-on style earbud looks like jewelry. I don't know if it's just because it's not as common yet, so it always kind of just feels like something that stands out. But this pair does use touch controls, and I am happy to say that out of the box, you get control over everything. Now, comfort-wise, I would say this pair is very comfortable. They're using a memory wire that goes and connects the speaker part that's in your ear, and then the control box with the battery that's located more towards the back part of your ear. There's not a whole lot of weight here. It grips enough to keep everything in place, but it's not where it's overly tight or anything that's going to cause discomfort. So that's a huge plus. It allows you to wear them for a long period of time. And speaking of being able to wear them for a long period of time, The battery life on these are also very good. On a single charge, the earbuds are going to get you about 8 hours. This is a huge plus because 8 hours will get you through a full workday. And with the charging case, you're going to get about 40 hours total. Now, if you are going to have these in LDAC mode, the battery life is going to take quite a bit of hit. So do keep that in mind. But if you do happen to pick them up and they are dead, it does have a fast charging feature where a 10-minute charge is going to get you about 2 hours of use. Now, if you are going to use these outdoors, it does come in with an IPX5 rating, which means it does have some slight protection against water, which basically means, like, you know, splashes, rain, sweat, and things like that, you'll be fine. Just make sure you don't drop these into water. Now, if you're also going to use these for taking phone calls, I think they do a pretty decent job here. Even in noisy environments, I feel like it does a good job of blocking out a lot of my surroundings and then just focusing in on my voice. But you guys can be a judge by listening to a quick test here.
So here is a quick mic test using the SoundPEATS Clip1 outdoors. It's not really a windy day, although I can hear traffic off to the side. And really, this is just to give you an idea of what it would sound like if you were to take a call public.
So now let's talk about the sound. And I feel like the sound is very good for this style of earbud. And what I mean by that is most clip-on style earbuds or most open ear style earbuds usually lack in the low end. So I am going to recommend going in the app and making sure that that dynamic EQ is turned on, because this makes a big difference in the low end. It gives you quite a bit of punch. It pulls out sub bass actually pretty well. And it also does all of this even at lower volume. So you don't have to like blast these to get a punchy low end, which is again normally what you have to do with other clip-on style earbuds. But the huge plus in these and the main focus I feel are on the mids. I feel like vocalists, whether it be male, female vocalists, even acoustic guitars, all of that sounds like very upfront. So you'll never have any issue being able to hear vocalists. It does a really good job with dialogue. So if you're listening to podcasts or again, movies or TV shows, all of the speaking parts are going to be pulled out and sound a little bit more upfront. And then the treble on these, I feel like sound nice and bright. It's not close to that point of being harsh. It doesn't have the sibilant sounds when it comes to the S's. It's just very clean and detailed. So if you were to kind of look at this on like an EQ curve, I'd say the bass is bumped up, you know, a little bit. The mids don't take much of a dive, and then the treble peaks up a little bit more than the bass. So it does have that almost typical U-shaped consumer-friendly tuning. So I think this is just going to make it appeal to a lot of people. Now, when it comes to the soundstage and the sound imaging, obviously this pair, because of its design, sounds very open. It definitely makes you feel like you're in a really large open area, but it also does an extremely good job of being able to tell where different sounds are coming from. And if you do want to open it up a little bit more, like I said, if you want to, you can switch it into that Dolby audio mode. But again, it's not something that I personally like as much as just listening to it the way that it is out of the box. So my overall opinion is this. SoundPEATS, again, because they're a company that's known for bringing a lot of value to their products, I think did an excellent job of making a premium style clip-on earbud that can compete with, again, a lot of the ones that are $200 to $300. Sound quality is definitely matching the more expensive brands. SoundPEATS, I am usually very happy with when it comes to their audio quality, and the Clip1 is no different. I think it really does do a good job with sound quality, especially with this type of earbud. So yeah, this one is an easy recommendation. But guys, that wraps up my video on the brand new SoundPEATS Clip1. Thank you so much for checking out this video. Thank you so much for checking out all the other videos. And as always, make sure to stay tuned for more.